I think it's working. Hello and welcome to another Paint and Chat, January 13th, yes, of the new year, 2021. We're hoping for a good year this year, right? I also did not really adjust my camera very much, so bear with me here. We are going to continue the Twilight sisters and work on the other sister, the little fair, slightly fairer twin. I'll take that light down a bit so you can kind of see where I'm starting from. I kind of got some of her base painting in. I just need to add the colors, which I hadn't really decided on how I was going to add yet, so this should be fun. Anywho, how are you guys all doing today? It's been a couple weeks. Looking forward to hearing what painting progress, if any, you've been making, or if you're getting ready or adjusting to the new year, or getting ready to file taxes, you know, whatever. Let's see, who have we got in here in the chat? Cronenberg, this is scheduled past my bedtime. Aw, well, I appreciate you hopping by. I hope you have a good evening. Hi, Shale, Pilek, Paul, thank you for being here. Slight update to his name. Turns out he's not 47 years old. Now you'll never get to know. Samuel, and Shale, and Alorian. Hey, good to see you, man. And Viper Taha, and Kristen, and Jeremy. Hey, painting a terrible model, it looks like. Oh, whatever. I have no idea if she plays well or not. I don't care. I get to enjoy playing Grimkin anytime I've played them. Like, they've always been fun games, so. Except when it's the King of Nothing. I do struggle a bit with that, so. Yeah. It's been a super busy week, so it's actually kind of nice to just sit down and chill and get back to some basic painting. So yeah, here's kind of a preview of what these little ladies look like. It's probably a better image, but yeah, so this is what I'm kind of looking at getting. So I painted her skin tone on, and that's as far as I've gotten. So we're gonna figure out the whole rest of it. And I thought I'd figure it out a couple weeks ago, and then I had to get ready for other things, but yeah. I just basically figure it all out when I'm here. So. Painting so many Trollbloods. Oh, Brian. Trollbloods are fun, though. Hey, Kenneth. Alfonso. Finished up 20 Shigaru. Very nice. 20 of them? It's very impressive. I'm working on finishing 1 of 2. Forgot this is today. Badge painting my last 8 out of 20 Blood Bowl Elfheim Eagles. Never going to do elves ever again. Yeah, but now you know how to do them, so it'll be easier in the future. Brian says Twilight sisters are super legit, so Jeremy, going to have to eat your words maybe. I skipped work tonight, not feeling it today. Ooh, well, I don't blame you. Some rest if you need it. That is usually the more important thing. Let's see here. Greetings to all my fellow painter. Hey, Thomas. Someday you'll get to be 47. Paul, my next hobby order will be the Night Lord Terminators that are available to pre-order on Friday. Have you guys already started buying miniatures for the new year? I guess 2020 probably resulted in more miniatures being painted than not. So I guess that's an interesting reality. Huh. Let's see, how would I like these girls linked? I'm wanting a brighter color. That was it. I was wanting a brighter color. So I might end up sticking with some purple. I'm digging the purple. Let's see, Grimskull. Trollblood painting for me feels monotonous. Don't get me wrong, I love playing them. Like, I don't know, is it that different from painting, say, orcs? Like, or, so I know, like the Boomhowler and Company, where they're running around with the tartans, those seem extremely difficult, and so it's like you can get one painted and you feel all proud of yourself, and then having to paint the whole rest of the unit, even with them being somewhat smaller units, is a little overwhelming. So I can see that, but otherwise, I don't know. They get your shades of blue and green, and you put little freckles on them. It doesn't seem so bad. Kristen edge highlighting some Primaris Hellblasters. Also small quib, but my name's pronounced like Christian, just with a K. Oh, sorry. I was just thinking that as you wrote that. I was like, how do I say it? So, Christian. Let's see, Shale almost finished with 2 squads, 14 stormtroopers for Star Wars Legion, working on Director Krennic tonight. Oh goodness, you guys are all over the place with your games. Lorian, I'm at the weathering stage of my Millennium Falcon kit. Then it's back to Sisters of Battle. Though the lightsaber hilts I ordered arrived today. Nice. I bought the Infinity Defiance board game for $200 on January 1st and have 28 new combined built to add to an army. I don't play anymore. Well, you know, the miniatures are fun and enjoy them. I bought my first ever box of Orc Boys. Almost done with them. 2020 has brought less painting and more, resulting in me having a larger plastic pile to be primed and painted. I'm like a frog hair away from jumping into orcs, but I love my Trollblood painting. We'll see. There you go. Alright, so similar dress here. I'm thinking that I'm going to have the dress portion be purple. Just kind of keep that theme going on. And let me see. So there's the gray hair. What did she do here? It's just all spooky and shady. And I did my my leathery off black color on this. This is a fair bit of work ahead of me. And we'll touch up some skin tones. I've got an airbrush for Christmas, so I'm playing around with that. Ooh, nice. I convinced myself I'd only ever use an airbrush for non-miniature related things, of which there are plenty. So, to start, I'm gonna just make sure that I've got her, you know, no weird thin spots from the primer to deal with. I want to make sure there's a nice solid base of color on her face, and then we can go on to the rest of it. So it looks like these girls have largely black hair. I wonder about adding more of a, like, more of a dark blue. Don't need them to be too crazy colorful. Trying to think of what all has been, what of interest has happened in the last couple of weeks. I guess my highlight in the miniature community really was learning about the new model coming out for Grimkin, the slaughterhouse. Still makes me smile every time I hear it. So. And I don't know if you all remember, because it feels like it was 10 years ago. At the very beginning part of 2020, there were so many conventions that were still happening. I know LVO had happened, and I'd gone to, it was in February, but Genghis Khan and also Indie Storm all happened before everything shut down. So it'll be interesting to see maybe what the latter half of this year brings, if it's going to be like a whole bunch of stuff happening. So, who knows? Let's see. Go for that color. Slaughterhouse will be super fun. I know. It's a great skin tone color. Some seem too pale or too ridiculously tanned. Yeah, I feel like I've been fairly lucky for this at least basic one on the model colors. Plus you can add shading if you're a fancier person. And because it's a good base, you can sort of lighten and darken it and without losing like a natural look to it, I guess. I don't know. Oh, hey, Patrick. Oh goodness, I missed a few things. Made a ton of progress on my Cater last year, but none of my FLGS stock or support War Lords anymore. So I'm shifting to Star Wars Legion. Dave Dog, what I find is you have to absolutely love your army in order to paint it. If you're moderately interested, it's like Dr. Poindexter doing tryouts for the football team. I recently finished Kaya the Wildborn for Circle Ouroboros. Now back to a unit of Reeves. See, I loved all the look of the circle armies. Spooky and shady. Hello from Spirit Lake, Idaho. Oh, nice, Patrick. It does sound really pretty. But the power sucks. Still pretty. I find myself developing an orc speech habit while painting them. Should I be worried? Nah. No bad influences when it comes to the orcs. They're fine. I primed all 70 minis that have printed on my new resin printer since Thanksgiving. So there's that. Holy cow, dude. I'm glad you've stayed so busy. That's impressive. Slaughterhouse will be super fun. I hope so. I'm gonna give a nice look to this outfit. It looks like she's got a bit of a corset and an overcoat happening here. So I try to understand. So we're gonna make her blouse the under portion, which I suppose might be her shift in this era. You know, just a nice neutral color. And then we'll add all the colors above it. Flounce, I wonder if it should also be that. I wonder if that shirt really actually does come down and is the rest of this. No, I don't think so. That is definitely a distinct overcoat here. Should probably see what I'm showing you guys. Up through this part, there's a cincher right there on her waist. And this is just kind of an odd dress in both cases. What to add? I was super bummed not to go to Indie Storm in hindsight. Well, hopefully it can happen again maybe next year. It was a really fun convention though. Genghis Khan feels a lifetime ago. I know, right? Because you kind of feel like the year began in March. That is weird. Not too yellow. No, it's not too bad. It's absolutely a terrible dad joke. Wow. Indie Storm was quite nice, particularly since it was my only convention for the year. Wow. Listen. This is why I like to keep reference photos near so I know what's supposed to be what. I just make this up as I go. I don't know how much goes into a miniature model's design when you're like designing the clothes for them, because you're just going with what looks right, especially in like a drawing, and then having to try and make it a little bit more practical is it's trickier. It's definitely trickier. All right, well, I'm just going to get into it. They've got a bit of a, I don't know, I like the purple theme. I've already embraced that for a lot of the Grimkin stuff as it is, so I'm just gonna Just gonna continue that. Started highlighting today for the first time. That shit's hard, yo. Till you get it, yes. Mm. Alright, so purple, and I think I'm going to reintroduce that tan on the fringe. I think that'll look nice. Now, I don't have a fancy color purple, so we're just gonna have to stick with my, I don't even know how old this color is, purple that I found. I think there's some sort of Tyranid purple around here somewhere, but I don't know where it is, so. Beautiful. Beautiful. Sorry, camera. I'm gonna just get some blobs of color on things now. Not caring for that seam line, but too late now. That's why you gotta catch all that stuff beforehand. So we're just gonna follow right along the trim line as if the more, well, this is the Minoth base, but essentially the off-white is the trim that has been attached. And I'm pushing a lot of paint around on this model. But this is a nice big wide plane, so it kind of holds the paint just fine. There we go. It's done. I've now committed to a color. But it's a strong color, so we can't go too overboard on it. It's also a cheap color, so we're gonna have to layer it. Show you what I'm talking about. This is what your 50-cent paints get you. You can basically see the primer right on through that. It'll get better, don't worry. It'll get better as more layers come on. Grimkin plus purple, peanut butter and jelly. Thank you, Brian. Is it strange that in 40 years' time there will be 3D printers that paint the mini for you? Oh, I've wondered about like programmable paint, right? Where your paint can be connected to an app on your phone, or you like touch it with an electrosensor, the way you have the photoreceptors or those gosh, I can't remember the name of it, but basically where you have windows that you can send an electrical impulse through and they'll tint. I'm waiting for them to be able to do that with paint, so you can like change your car color and change your miniatures if you really want to. It's gonna be high level like that. I'm watching Miranda paint and I'm not at that speed yet. I would never have made a good surgeon. We'll see. Whoa, there we go. So this is pretty much dry because I live in the desert and things dry super fast. So we can just go ahead and throw on that next layer like you don't care or whatever. Anyway. And I think for the underside, I'm gonna let that fall into shadow. So I'll probably just bust out like a dark gray or a black, just so I don't have to try and get purple way in under there. We'll just say she has a lining. She obviously is wearing something reasonably nice. I mean, she's magical. You gotta have nice clothes if you're magical. Alright. probably need a third layer. We'll try to keep everything else more neutral. Drinking paint water, that's the way you assert dominance in your hobby. Something I have still never done. Nanomachine sun, right? That's what I'm saying. Oh, hey, this is today. Sorry, sick with a headache. Still wishing you luck and Happy New Year. Catch you next time, ideally with something painted. Good night, Mandragora. Take care, man. Alright, so we're doing that. She's going to have... What can I do for her hair? I want something other than just black hair. So a lot of that theme here. Thinking we could go with a little bit more of a red. We'll see. We'll see, we'll see. Let's... Ooh, yeah, we'll pull that in. I know of a few people who haven't accidentally drank paint water. It's part of the experience. One must learn to keep cups separate. My main issue is that I will put my brush in my coffee more than drinking it. Yeah, that's generally the risk here. I've got my teacup and also my paint water just like right there. So drinking, not drinking. So, you know, I'm sure it's a matter of time. I used a sour cream container. Clean, of course. Never drank from it once. Yeah, see? Plenty of folks in that club. It's just sort of like, I think when it does eventually happen, you're like, oh my gosh, I did the thing. And then you can't say you haven't done it before. Or anymore. Black trim might be better. And then this is again the difference of the paint that actually covers. Oh, so spoiled now. Some one coat nonsense. What's even happening? What am I doing? You're part of the coat. Silly. Does licking brushes count? No, it's a very deliberate thing. That apparently is just a choice, let's say. Whereas accidentally drinking your paint water is just, you're not paying attention and then you do the thing. Whereas, yeah, no, it doesn't count at all. Intent is important in that case. Just picking this right back up. Alright, that and that. And then figure out where else we want this. What you shouldn't do is drink paint water with metallics. That is not good for you. Even drinking acrylics isn't great. That's liquid plastic. Well, I mean, I'm sure if you're used to eating fast food, it's probably like not that different, right? And I say that as somebody who eats probably too much fast food. Gosh, I really want to use this sanguine base as her hair color. I just don't know if it's too dark. It's so pretty though. Look at this color, guys. It's like just really not. I'm doing it anyway. Ah! Hi, Adeptus Ridiculous. Wow, Christian, that's a special mug you've got there. I also have have the Citadel Grey Cup, mostly for the purpose of not tipping. Gosh, I feel like that just really needs to be all purple. A little cape and everything. Who needs Little Red Riding Hood? There we go. Oh, the other thing is when I throw a wash over everything, it kind of hides any weird paint streaks that you get from your 50-cent paints anyway, so not too terribly worried. Oh, well, that's kind of coming out just fine. Alright, so cloak. There's a little bit of cloak there. Hello, Adeptus Ridiculous. Hope you're doing well. Happy New Year. I don't know that I saw you in the last chat. I don't remember. I guess this is technically the first chat of the new year. But I kind of bridge the year with my models because they're twins, even though I'm working on a different one. So I think it kind of works out. Goodness, already a half an hour in. I'm making actual progress, guys. What's even happening right now? Let's see, that's her hair. We can paint in a moment, then I'll have to carve her ears back in, because funny enough, her ears poke out of her hair. I just noticed that. I have a Crick's coffee cup, but I use it for coffee. Does it say Necrotite on it? Oh yeah, you did forget to change it. Ridiculous 2020. You reckon there's some guy out there somewhere in a log cabin painting Warhammer and going out shooting raccoons for food? I mean, I suppose if I don't know what the Venn diagram is of urban survivalist or even just rural woodsman prepper to Warhammer association is. I'm not totally clear on that. It's possible. It's entirely possible. Alright, well, looks like I've cracked her head, so that's already a good start. That's sanguine blood. Sanguine red is certainly a powerful color. Don't know if it's appropriate. Why is this giving me so much trouble now? There we go. So maybe I need to go with a different color. Maybe I need to go with a bright red. Ah, dang it. Love this color. It's too purple though. Who else here got the Wintertime Wasteland minis for Riot Quest? not me. But I know a lot of people like it. So random, Dave. Also, why a raccoon? There's plenty of better, more delicious game out there in the woods. But attainable might be a different question. Do you need hunting licenses in the US and Canada? For elk and deer, yes. For varmints, not necessarily. Like, people can, I guess, freely shoot coyotes out here, for example. Yeah, we're gonna go with a more fiery color. She's getting Kador red. It's just happening. We're gonna do it. She's looking almost manga-like. Laughs in Minnesota. Love it. Oh, it's so dark. Don't want to do that. Yes. Ooh, I'm getting too many bright colors on here. Here's the problem. I keep struggling with, like, I've got this purple, which feels like very bright, and I don't want to keep adding a lot of bright colors. I have a phobia about it because, you know, then this chick comes and stares at me and I'm like, don't add a bajillion colors to your miniature. It's horrible every time. So this is me trying to restrain myself. I'm gonna just, just gonna take a little bit of this wrought iron that might need some there we go. That's actually pretty liquidy paint right there. Good. Has anyone tried the Turbo Dork paints? What are you even talking about? Don't even know what you are referencing, good sir. Alright, let's get our coat to be this off black color. Alright, this is getting to be a little bit better. Color's not going too crazy. Getting a splash of actual color on there without it being an overwhelming element of the model. It's the theory. We'll see. See if I can keep this up. This is me making it up as I go. But she does need to tie into her sister a bit, so I'm glad I'm going to use this black a bit. Off black a bit. She's got those pretty bell sleeves. There we go. Turbo Dork paints are color changing paint. And that's what it looks like on the website. I've heard mixed things. Just found out that they seem to do better with an airbrush. What? More colors are more to look at. No. Disagree. Appreciate the thought, but definitely disagree. It's easy to add too many colors in my case. I try to go with, like, as I've mentioned it before, I think, but like the way the French do makeup, where you sort of just take one element to focus on to really like put a popping color on. And then that's it. Everything else is pretty neutral, as not to overwhelm the eye. That is my philosophy when it comes to miniature painting as well. And one thing for pop. I don't use the second layer, but actually I think I'm liking the way that's the direction of this. Pretty soon I'll actually get to play with these chicks. That'll be fun. And pretty soon we'll get to the fun part where I get to draw in the face, which is usually my favorite part. That'll be fun. Alright, gotta get that bloody knife painted. That might be another place to bust out that sanguine base. So pretty. How do you decide on color of primer? Black, white, or gray? Well, folks in here have probably much better advice. I default to gray because I usually don't have much of a plan of how I'm going to paint anything. Todd, yeah, the color changes real dramatically. I put it through the airbrush and you really need 3 to 4 coats to get it really sparkling. Ooh. Christian, the best way to decide how bright or dark you want your model to start. You can brighten a model primed with black, but it's a chore versus white or gray. I paint with Homer Simpson's makeup shotgun. Exactly. I mean, for speed. Thank you, Samuel. The same thing applies to white. If you start there, it's tough to darken the miniature overall values, like if you primed black. Also, black hides mistakes and increases and folds better. If you want to do yellow, black, white if you want to do yellow, black if you want to be lazy. With darkness in the recesses, gray is the middle ground between the two. There you go. Am I so quiet? Oh gosh, I'm sorry. I'm like mumbling to myself, I think. I just need more tea. Sitting here figuring out what I want to do, and so I think I'm also painting distractedly. Still debating if I want to make that trim white or dark. Still leaning toward light. We're getting there. So, sorry for any of you who can barely hear me. Hopefully that's a little better. Trying to just talk louder, actually. That's it. Now, I mentioned before, but on this little wrought iron color that I use, once a black wash goes over it, it'll have a really cool leather look to it. So it'll look like she's wearing more of a fitted leather jacket overcoat than a cloth one, which I think is apropos for this lovely lady. So yeah, that's what's gonna happen. Beautiful. Eric Fountain, trying to get inspired to start painting again. Don't know that I'm gonna be like a good resource for that, but glad you're here. Hey Brayden, how's the new year? Oh boy, it's been an exciting one. We're getting through NAC slowly. It's pretty exciting. And you know, other than that, doing all right. How have you been? Here, you've been staying very busy. We're gonna just pretend this is not a gross part of cheap paints. Worn out voice, a little bit. I did have a lot I had to deal with this weekend, and so I probably am a little bit talked out. Hey Bill, it's good to see you, man. Shale, there you go. Primer color mostly depends on the colors you're going to end up putting on the model when you've planned it out. I favor black with stark zenithia light. So yeah, that's definitely a common one too, where you have the lighter color above and the you let it fade below so you get sort of a natural, I guess, highlight. At the end of the day, I've decided on a rich brown. That will be her color. And we'll add some pretty highlights with that blood tracker brown color that I've fallen in love with. And I think that'll be the most appropriate color for her. And yes, I am painting just right out of the lid like a savage. This is a burnt umber? Yeah. Surprisingly common color. Commonly used by me anyway. So, sorry, that's probably horribly out of focus, but it's the angle I need. And then I'll come in with a smaller brush to get in the details where it's meeting the clothing. For now, we just need to make sure it hits all the parts of the model. Hair has so many little nooks and crannies that you can end up missing spots if you are inattentive. Good to hear. I've been extremely busy with work. Probably have to work more tonight. We're understaffed and assets are coming in slowly, so we're always making proxies and replacing day to day. Oh man. Well, I guess it's good to stay busy, but don't wear yourself out too much. But yeah, you know we all miss you. And it's been a little kooky. Nax has truly proven to be an intense dungeon. Definitely more of a swoop than I intended. Sorry, I'm focusing on hair. I'll get back to the chat in just a moment. That is hair. Sometimes it can be difficult to determine hair from, frills. So, just making sure I have it accurate. Her hair really kind of spills all over too. It's very pretty. Ta-da! Alright, nice rich brown hair. That will need highlights because there's a lot of texture in there and it's totally worth bringing those up. Yeah, yes. You need equal rest and equal work. Otherwise, you get burned out. Yeah, well, not all the work is voluntary. Not like a savage, more like a heathen, because that is blasphemy. Craft paint right out of the cap. Oh my gosh. Just ground myself. Hey, Legionnaires. Everyone now, don't get too stressed. Baby steps. I'm not too worried. Yeah, I know quite a bit of raiders didn't like me much, but yeah, I work out with Nax. There's no way. Oh, with work and Nax. Yeah, I don't know. I mean, if you're having to work a whole bunch, like, even after I finish with this live stream, I'm going to have to go and prepare more stuff for Nax tomorrow. And I had to miss it on Sunday due to aforementioned other business, and I already feel behind. It's like, but it's also kind of fun when you succeed in it, and we're getting there, so. But whatever, most of us all miss you, so I don't know who the haters are, but you can ignore them. Best stress reliever is off. Is the off button on the remote? Dude, right? That's a joke, kids. Don't do drugs. Drugs are bad. Up with hope, down with dope. I don't think I've heard that one, but yeah, all of those things, sure. Until it's the new Crucible Guard guys. They apparently took a lot of drugs and flexed. Where's the cat? I've closed the door. She's not in here to bother me. She has to go just sleep in her bed instead of coming and pestering you guys and me. So, sorry if you were hoping for the cat tonight. Drugs just don't do anything for me. On that lucky note, don't drink your painted water either, folks. These are lessons we need to remember from 2020, right? Okay. I have to paint her teeny tiny ears, which have now officially been primed brown. And the paint totally dried before it reached the model. It is a little silly that her ears stick out of the paint. Teeny tiny ear. There we go. That's one. Next. She almost has like fawn's ears. Line from the movie Half Baked, delivered by Dave Chappelle. Much better than me. Oh, I haven't seen that movie. Oh great, my PTSD from high school just gave me a wedgie. Thanks for the Dare ad. I miss your cat. She's your mascot. Poor thing. She is fine. She is a spoiled brat who gets to lounge around and sleep all day while I sleep away at work. So, you know, she's she can at least give me some peace and quiet once in a while. Sometimes she brings me little unfortunate presents. Alright, so brown's good. We're going to come in and draw a highlight with the other brown. And before this wrought iron paint fully dries, we're gonna go over her jacket again. Which is the only true annoying thing about craft paints is in fact the fact that you have to relayer them constantly. Well, multiple times. I was playing an online RPG when one of my cats started his angry growl and kept it up for 20 minutes. Goodness, why was your cat so angry? Mine just likes to meow and look at you and wait to see what you do. And if you ignore it, she'll like come up and meow again or try a few different things. And she's done this weird telephone thing where she'll practice all sorts of weird chirpy noises and then look at you. To see what your response will be. It's like, I guess you're a house cat. You're probably bored out of your mind, so. It's not like they do fun and cool things like paint miniatures. Alright. We need more skin tone. More skin. And I'm just ever so slightly cleaning up all of my little sloppy mistakes. There we go. Totally heard that as Fawn's ears. Wow. Wow, Paul. Do you prefer painting character, terrain, or vehicles? Characters are very fun because I get to paint faces. Then terrain because there's generally like a process to it. And vehicles I've barely messed with at all, and so I don't know. Large, flat planes do intimidate me a bit though, so full admission to that. She's gonna need purple shoes, but I don't like that. No, she's gonna have black shoes. That's just gonna have to be the way it will. Look it up, kids. It's a good song from the 80s by Huey that isn't That's the Power of Love. Well, alright then. I know, right? This no cats allowed attitude borders on discrimination. Yes. Routinely discriminate against my cat, apparently. She's not allowed to follow me into the bathroom either, so, you know. What am I doing? Oh, yes. I suppose her hands should be her color. Would she have gloves? Would she have gloves? Actually, I think she probably does have glubbies. Silly me. Alright, fine. Today my cat became terrified of our living room, refused to enter, and would growl and hiss every time someone else entered. Maybe she knows something we don't. If it's a really abrupt change like that, I would be extremely suspicious. And, you know, I'm very inclined to fall for, like, more supernatural things. Just be like, what's going on? I mean, you don't know. I don't know. Then you have some animal, like, kind of picking up, an animal who obviously has like stronger beast senses than we do, because poor humans are like just the worst with that stuff. Yeah, I would be cautious. Okay, and her shoes also need to become this color. She's gonna have patent leather shoes. Very fabulous lady running around the woods. $8:27. My goodness, I've been painting for like an hour straight, and look, I'm actually making progress. What is even happening right now? This is great. Although, where's everyone else's progress at? We should do a progress check. How are you guys doing? I know where some of you all started. She officially has shoes on, more or less. One of my cats gets picked on by another cat, so he growls like he's gonna attack something. That or he's swearing in cat language. I don't think most cats know what they're saying when they meow. I think that it's just a thing that makes noise and then gets them a reaction, and they try to navigate the world using that. You're so right. Who made that rule, Miranda? I love cats now. Don't deprive us. Could be the fact that there's ghosts in the house. Could be. Never know. I hope so. Maybe. It would depend on what that meant, I guess. Are you stoked to get your hands on the defiled Archon? It's got like 50 faces. Well, that does sound actually really fun, especially if they all, like, especially if they have multiple expressions, if they're not all just, like, sad, like, spooky movie type of faces. If there's, like, happy and sad and, like, the drama faces, then I'd be all in on that. Your cat ever just stare at the wall intensely and you're just quietly freaking out like it's ghosts? No, I don't know that she's quite that attentive. Maybe I'm just not that attentive now that I think about it. So no, I haven't noticed that. That's why cats do what they do, bark at the moon. We had a cat that used to meow at a wall. We figured he was signaling the mothership. All of our cats are rescues. Oh, mine was too. Hey, Brian. My little kitty cat's legitimately 13. When I was living in Oklahoma, she came and she was a starving and recently abandoned kitten. So I'm like, well, not gonna let an animal die, so that's how I usually end up adopting anything I have. Waiting for the wash to dry. Oh, good. That'll be a while, I suppose. Another good song, Adeptus. Bark at the moon, the Ozman cometh. Progress. All right, Brian, what do we got? Masked a bunch of elf shields so I can get the metals airbrushed. Shale, painting the cape and tunic all the different shades of off-white before highlighting in pure white. That sounds complicated. I use magnification headset to see details that are ridiculously tiny, but there to enhance the miniature, like whether she's wearing gloves or not. Yeah, me too. Just finished with work. Happens when you spend the day repairing and cleaning your equipment. Well, yeah, that's fair. Then touch up, paint the base, and call it done. Yay. Paul, my old cat Daisy, was always suspicious when we rearranged furniture in the room. She'd creep around wondering what had happened for days. I've started yet another 20 Ashigaru, which is, I guess, Japanese for foot troops. Only 40 more to go. You're doing great. What's probably your favorite tabletop game at the moment? It can be for anything. Cool models, rules, whatever. That's an interesting question. Let me come back to it. Yeah, adult cats in the wild won't meow at all. It's only something they've understood and gives an effect from us, right? That's what I would think so too. That guitar. Brian, right, I had emergency brain surgery at the beginning of December. How have you been? Yeah, I saw that on your Twitter feed. And I read about the link you had posted about the neuron or the nerve cluster. So I'm really happy that you're here and sounding like you're doing all right. So I wanted to check on you, but then I didn't want to bother you, which is usually my default. So I'm really glad to see you. Hey Jake, how you doing? Favorite tabletop game at the moment? Well, I guess Warcraft isn't that. And I haven't played much tabletop since Valhalla, and that was pretty much all War Machine, which I really enjoyed. And I haven't really explored much of 9th edition. I guess I tested out Warcaster, but I kind of need to retest it because my demo I did not enjoy at all. And what else? I think that's really it. I haven't done much. Like, painting has been the bulk of my hobbying of late. All right, let's take some of that Blood Tracker brown. Oh, this color's so great. Oh, I'm fine. I wasn't using that part of the brain anyway. That 10% rule is just a myth, you know. Well, it's good to see you. We'll have to catch up at some point. Time for some dry brushing, folks. Add some texture. And this is just the Blood Tracker, the fancier brown over my cheap brown, to bring out those lovely details. So lovely. I was fortunate enough to see him 3 times. Oh my goodness. That's quite the fan, Kristen. Alright, sorry, that's probably all pretty much blurry. I'll show you what I'm accomplishing in a second. So when you can get a great dry brush, that's usually a testament to some really good modeling. Because then you can catch all those details. We're gonna close that lid before something bad happens. Right, Alfonso? All right, so here, where those lighter bits in her hair are, that is that lovely dry brushing work. And so you can see her hair has just a really beautiful texture all on its own. In fact, I'm gonna probably be a little easier to catch this way, maybe. Say that. I don't know, she's coming along. I feel like I just lost detail. Well, either way. I'm enjoying it. The effect is good. It is satisfactory. Warcraft is not a tabletop game. Get back to Space Hulk. I know, I have my game, like my 3rd one, totally like ready to edit. I'm like, I have to get ready for next. Yes, I know. Shame me. That's right, you heard it. It's never too late to paint. It's never late to paint. Not played anything tabletop in a while, but my Steam library has exploded in size. Right? Yeah, no, there's some very strange Steam games I got to have for Christmas that have been quite enjoyable. The occipital lobe is just there for show and vision. Yes. Okay. The inside of his cape has all these fun wrinkles and folds that are frustratingly difficult to get to. Can you put like a snoot on an airbrush to like get into little corners and crevices? Is there a way to like the way you have compressed air and you push it through, or like WD-40 and you push it through those tiny straws? Are you able to do that on an airbrush? Because that would be great to me. Do you have any tips for highlighting? Okay, well, there is actually some really interesting conversations happening earlier on with how you prime your model, where you do the zenithal lighter top of the model, and it's almost like a gradient from light to dark, from the top of the model to the bottom, so that you have a natural highlight. And then I know you can paint in highlights. Generally, my highlights have all been done via dry brush. What do you guys think? What techniques do you usually use for highlighting? I get a bunch of stuff painted, then I get more stuff to paint. Bills, I know. I must mention, Tabletop Simulator is a great program on Steam and lets you play many tabletop games, including Warhammer 40k. Well, Paul, we tried Kill Team on Tabletop Simulator, right? That was interesting. I don't know, it's just not the same. Found Mouseling Space Marines on Reaper's website. Had a passing thought of proxying the chapter of the Mouseling Space Marines for 40k to troll my opponents. You gotta find them first. Or gotta be allowed to meet people. Yeah, like Paul's saying, we found Tabletop Simulator to be a touch clunky, but that's not to say it doesn't work. And you know, if you're lacking options, then it is what it is. So. All right. Blood Tracker Brown actually could do for painting the handle of her just adorable little butcher knife she's got. And I think I'm also going to paint that chalice brown and dry brush brass over it. Give it a cool antiqued look. Because who knows how long she's been carrying that thing around. So we've got to get her trim painted, her face painted, her knife painted. Edge highlights, contrasting highlights. Oh dear. Yes, there's different types of highlights as well. Oh, there's that lovely cheap paint effect right there. Something admittedly oddly satisfying to it. One second. And this is totally fine. Just fine. Yep, there we go. There's good paint on there. One of these days I'll replace them. Today is not that day. Although it does seem perma-glued to my toothpick. That's unfortunate. I only have one up here. Hey, get off. Alright, we're just gonna ignore that. Moving on. The chalice from the palace has the pellet with the poison what? I'm gonna get some of this lovely gunmetal gray on here. Which has a beautiful little shine to it. These are those metallics you're really not supposed to drink in your paint water. So, we'll see. Like I said, I've yet to make that mistake. I feel like when I do, it'll probably be with the metallics though. There we go, nice shiny bit. So she looks like she's got beakers and all kinds of weird stuff going on here. I'm gonna have to paint her cincher. All right. War table / tabletop simulator is something I mostly just do with locals to get that socialization. The game is more of an excuse to interact with people. Agreed. All right, brown. Get that chalice painted up and put a lovely wash on it. And I'm gonna have to repaint her little glubbies, but that's fine. Oops. I also forgot the P3 paint actually has a distinct smell. Like it smells more like paint, like what you'd think of house paint or something than the craft paints do. Craft paints really don't have much of an odor unless they get mold in them, and then it's probably not one that you expect. Alright, so that's painted up. It's also a little bit easy to go too thick on some of these. Whatever happened to the band Soul Asylum? I try to salvage all the paint from those clumps too. High five, Samuel. According to Wikipedia, Soul Asylum are still going. Released an album last year. Oh goodness. What's it like to smell things? Usually more of a curse than a blessing, but technically it's useful. You can always tell when you have a gas leak. Nothing hits you in the nose like old GW washes. Drink too much metallic paint and you could truly become a silver-tongued person. Did any of you guys ever hear about colloidal silver? How you would electrically charge silver into your water and drink that to help protect you? You can turn gray from it if you have way too much of it, apparently. And that's kind of wild. So technically that is a risk. You know, keep your precious metals on the outside of your body. All right, let's see if we can get some trim painted while that dries. Actually, I did want to put brown in her little cincher. I have to be careful around house paint fumes. Some brands give me incredibly bad migraines. Yeah, it's the VOCs, I think, in there. So whenever I buy paint, I try to get the low vapor quality ones so that they don't make me lightheaded. I don't really like most any chemical smell, so I tend to be a lightweight in all of that. Don't like the smell of gasoline. I know that's like a thing for some people. Is she wearing chains? A very goth kid. Glass, so I'll have to paint that first. Yeah, she's wearing chains. We're not gonna paint that brown leather, that would be weird. I have a severely muted sense of smell. My wife has a dog nose, so I guess we balance out. That does seem to be the dynamic commonly. A TV preacher tried to sell it as a cure for COVID. Or COVID even. Oh, COVID. Oh, that dude who looked like a Smurf. What's even happening? Vovid, it's another new thing. Don't worry about it. It's fine. Probably a gray. One of my wife's nieces ate too many carrots over a period of time and got an orange tint to her skin. Oh my. Well, flamingos are only pink because of all of the little, like, shrimp or whatever they eat that make them that way. Otherwise, they'll be white. I was cutting styrofoam with a hot wire the other day when my kids got home and they said the house smelled bad. Ugh, gross. Burnt foam is a disgusting smell. I've been playing the same game of Civilization 4 all day. Well, now you're hanging out with, humans. It's good to see you. All right, what am I doing? Let's get a face on here. I got 10 minutes. And, I need to sometimes prove to you guys that I paint stuff. Although after I'm done, it'll be time to wash all my brushes all proper like a grown-up. So excited. Is this the right color? It's very yellow. No, it's too much. Those are apparently my choices. Loathe that noise. Oh, the two pieces of foam together. Okay, yeah, I can see that. That's definitely not a pleasant sound. There are certain sounds that rub, like when a couple of things rub together, like the sound actually hurts your teeth. At least that's the effect it has on me, where it just has this bizarro effect. I loaf that noise. Go, Miranda. Aw, thanks you. Man, Kristen, such harsh language in the chat tonight. I can't find my normal off-white, so I'm sitting here mixing a color. This is definitely not something I'd have been doing a year ago. See, human growth, I guess. All this to get the whites of her eyes. subtle white, but it works. Do you still play War Machine? I do. It's probably the most recent game I have played, to be honest. It's been, well, non-video games. It's been hard to get games in. This them are black. Gonna put in some eyeball slits. They look like eyeballs at the end. You'll see. No, I love you all. I'm glad you're all here. That is most assuredly one of my pet peeves. No, I understand. They're definitely like common collective sounds that are just the worst. My eye technique. Oh gosh, we'll see. See if I can keep it up. All right, so here is her tiny, tiny eyes. See if that's any better. Oh God, this freaking camera is the worst. I hate it so much. One of these days I'll change it, but not today. Alright, so that's her base, like I've just thrown in the lines. Maybe. Anyway, then I'm just going to use the same color as her hair to put in her eyebrows. And then she should have, you know, semi-human face. Then the wash will kind of fill in the other details of her face. Hopefully. We'll see. Face tasting. What? I live in such a remote area that I have to travel so far to get to a meta to play. But my brother and I have been playing War Machine since 2009. So 2009. That's like right before Mark II came out, isn't it? So that's a long time. Harder part can be eyebrows. They change your face symmetry so much. Okay. Thank you, Bells. Alright, and then back over to the skin tone to kind of, I guess, cover and shore in what I've missed or what I've overdone. And all this with my teeny tiny little brush. Here. And the repainting the skin tone is how you can avoid your line looking so much like a line while still allowing the eyes to seem fairly large. and defined. Or at least that's how it seemed to work for me. I only kind of half know what I'm talking about here. But it works. She will certainly need some lips. Once we get there. Let's see. Oh, we're basically at the end, I guess, anyway, so does this give you enough of a focus? You can kind of see where her face ended up. So definitely not done. But a whole lot more done than she was. So I'm not hating that. Yeah, there you go. Ta-da. I didn't get the black or I didn't get the brass dry brush on, but she's got most of her base colors. She's playable, other than needing arc markings. It's fine. Thank you. Love that face tasting. Wow. Thank you, Christian. Watch that if you have trouble. The key is points of contact to steady your hand with the other. Yeah, I constantly do the thing where you kind of brace one hand against another, for sure. Because I drink a lot of Earl Grey tea. I know, caffeine nut here. So it's not like I don't have shaky hands. What do you use for skin tones? I've tried a lot of mixing for high Allegiant Almond Adraza. So much of his sculpt is bare hands. And yeah, for like a midnight, you would probably want more of like an olive tone or a deeper tone because they are in such a desert environment. I have just kind of mixed and matched until I found what I liked. Like my Catachan had quite a few different skin tones, and a lot of it was just messing with it. You've got to keep like a certain, I don't know, like luminosity level or something with it. Like there's a point in which the tone range gets kind of unrealistic or too much of a non-skin color, I guess. I don't know. So yeah, there's definitely a range to work in, and I don't have better advice for you other than I just messed with it. I'm sure there's like really good guides online. Earl Grey hot tea, Earl Grey hot. Yes, just like Jean-Luc Picard. Cork eyes are easy. Just a tiny red dot for one for each eye. I know, they don't even have to be lined up. So anyway, a whole lot more done. Well, you guys have a wonderful evening. I super appreciate you hanging out, and hopefully you made some decent progress. Good luck on all of those, all of your many, many models that you guys are working on. So, yeah, I'll be back in a couple of weeks and hopefully have some new stuff to show you. So you guys have a great night, and we'll see you around. All right?